Well, it's the Monday after Christmas, and that means that I've been eating lasagna for about 4 days straight, going on 5. But I've got a bunch of stuff to ship out here, so let's get right into it. We'll go through one of the stores here quick, and then we'll get into some ephemera toward the end of the video. Boy, this here was a mistake. This came from an estate sale that was actually a very good estate sale, and I threw some stuff into my pile that just wasn't worth it, and this is one of them here. This piece here goes to a much older Mac, and it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. The espresso machine that I showed in another video does work. I put some water in it, tested it out, everything works as it should. But being that it's from 1991, I wanted to give it a full refurb. So I ordered the complete gasket set for this. Everything from the filler cap here, the steam bond, the group head, all the internals, everything's going to get taken apart, rebuilt. It should bring close to $2,000, if not a little bit more. But the next thing that's sold is this Egyptian god Horus statue here. This is from Austin Productions, 1977. And this piece here sold for $42 plus shipping. So these have been sitting for a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is drawer number 5, and these are, well, they're in these little bags. So let's get them, let me get them on the table here because I want to make sure I'm giving this guy the right ones. About 8 or 9 years ago, I went to an estate sale. In this garage, this guy had a great shop in his garage. Lots of new old stock OEM Ford parts. These are original new old stock Ford injectors, I believe 99 to 2004 for a 4.6 liter. I have 2 of them in the shop, and both of them sold to the same person for $30 each plus shipping. I've had this one for quite a while. This is a Technics SL-PS70. Class AA, very high-end CD player. Goes for a lot of money if it works. This one does not work, and it came from a smoker's home. The remote does work. It turns on. I got the remote to work, but it's got some other issues. But I did list this for parts are not working, and I took a best offer of $60 plus shipping. These are in bags, but we all know what a Bose cube looks like. These came from that giant box of Bose for $30 that I ended up parting out. And I think this might be the last piece out of that box. These have issues with them. This one's got a broken connector, and this one I believe had a bunch of scuffs and scratches on it. So I did sell these. I can't remember if I took an offer or not, but they went for $29.99 plus shipping for the pair. Well, these are kind of cool. At least I thought they were when I bought them 5, 6 years ago. These are weight plates, very old school, Healthways. They were covered in rust. Came out of a basement in an estate sale. I soaked them in Evapor Rust, and it got them cleaned up pretty good. These sold for $10 plus shipping. And now that I'm looking at them, these are not the right ones. And this is all that I have left. And I have no idea how that happened. So what you probably see on the screen or just saw, for 2.5 pounds. These are 1 1/4. And I have a 100% perfect score on this store. Let's hope I can message the buyer and that they reach out to me before these need to be shipped. So see if they want them for free and hope that I don't get a defect on my account. So fingers crossed. The strawberry candle that I picked up in a previous video sold. I overpaid for it at that estate sale. I paid I think this was $7, but it did sell for, what did I list it for? The full asking price, $34.99 plus shipping. Strange things happen on eBay. I know you've all heard of, and maybe it's even happened to you, where you touch an item that you've had for years. You just happen to move it in its inventory, wherever it is, and it sells the same day or the next day. This is kind of like that. However, these have just been sitting. I didn't touch them at all until today. So the sale that I picked up those injectors from 8, 9, whatever years ago, this guy must have had a Buick at some point. These are for a 63 Electra. These are from that same sale, and they also just sold. So 8 or 9 years of sitting in inventory, 2 completely separate items for 2 different vehicles going to opposite ends of the country, literally opposite ends of the country. Both sold within 24 hours of each other. It makes no sense to me how this stuff works or why it happens, but it's cool when it does. So both of these going to the same buyer. They sold for $25.49 each plus shipping. If you remember from a very recent video, I paid $65 for this Canon camera at an estate sale. And I ordered one of these cast iron chargers with a spare battery because this didn't have a charger for it. It does work, and I listed it for $189.99, and it's sold for that full asking price plus shipping. All right, let's get into some ephemera sales. We'll go over these quick, and then I'll show you some very cool historical pieces that are going up in the store. So 5 sheets of paper, 2 separate buyers. This one is the Pratt & Young Coal Company, 1917. And this one is signed by the president. Really cool piece. This one sold for $15.99 with free shipping. The rest of these are all going to the same buyer, and they all share a similar theme here. This is the Warner Macaroni Company out of Syracuse, New York. This one's actually from November of 23. And then previously to November, in August, they had a different letterhead. It's got this little guy here on the bottom. And then about a year later, 1924, September, they are the Fools Company of New York, formerly Warner Macaroni. And then lastly, for this customer here, the Macero Macaroni Company. So this person's on a macaroni kick. Must collect macaroni-related things. Who doesn't love macaroni, right? Cool piece. Moving on to the other stuff here. There's only a couple here, but they're pretty cool. This one here I bought in a box full of stamps. I picked it up at a neighborhood sale for like $10. And I never buy stamps. 90% of the time, they're just worthless. But this one is a little different. Because this one was flown on the Hindenburg. Look at how great that writing is there. So based on the date of this one here, this was on the first North American flight. I also had a few postcards that were in this box of the Hindenburg that were purchased on the Hindenburg. Those sold quite a while ago, but very cool piece. Putting this one in the store. Actually, this one is already listed. Now, the next piece relates to a brewery. First time talking again. So this is the West End Brewing Company. And you can see here it's signed by FX Matt, the president. You can see, where is it? Up here, FXM. FXM, so that's the initials of the person that dictated the letter, and this is the initial of the person that wrote it down, most likely. So signed by FX Matt, the president, very early. Now, this brewery here actually survived Prohibition. They're still around today. And they were the first brewery to serve beer after repeal in December of 33. And that beer was a Utica Club. So this other piece I have here related to this brewery. This is the testimonial dinner of FX Matt, Frank X Matt, 1938. And that Utica Club seal sticker right there, you can see it's embossed foil. This was held in the Grand Ballroom in Hotel Utica. Fun fact, when I got married, we had our wedding reception in the Grand Ballroom of Hotel Utica. And this guy here, FX Matt, his grandson lived 3 houses down from me when I was a kid. So I grew up next to his grandson. So we got a lot of cool brewery stuff throughout the years. But inside is a menu. If I get this on screen, so you can see what people were eating in 1938, along with a testimonial, the committee listed down below. And on the back, because this brewery is so old, it started in 1888, it lists all their employees. And there were a few that in 1938, they were employed for 40 to 50 years, which is crazy to me. I knew a lot of people that worked at this brewery. And I want to say the Utica Club, if you watch Dirty Dancing, I'm almost positive Patrick Swayze is holding a Utica Club bottle at some point in that movie. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those weird Mandela effect things. But if I find it, I'll have a clip up here of that. So what's crazier than having this? So I bought this at, I went to a person's house. He had speakers that I wanted on Craigslist. And he had a treasure trove of stuff. And this came from the printing company that printed this. When they tore the building down, he managed to get in, and he found 2 of these. He has one, I have the other. There may be a third floating around, but these are the only 2 that I know of for certain. And the craziest part, this comes up here. This is the ticket, one of the tickets to get in to that dinner. And you can see here, it was never, the tab was never pulled. It was never torn off. So this is a full, complete ticket from 1938 for the testimonial dinner. Absolutely crazy to me. I had this listed previously in another store. Very high, did not sell. I'm going to take some better photos of it and list it high because I kind of don't want to sell it. It's just, it's crazy to me that this even exists and I have it. So yeah, lots of cool brewery stuff here. The Hindenburg letters, or the cover, is very cool. Very historical piece. So I'm going to get some photos taken, get these listed, get these shipped, get them out of here today. But that's going to be all for this video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.